Hi, I'm John Pavlak. Welcome back to Ion Harness Racing, presented by Trackmaster. The first of 2 weeks of Grand Circuit racing at the Red Mile is in the books, and as usual, there were several outstanding performances. Captain Treacherous lowered his mark after making a mid-mile move on the way to a 147-1 victory with driver Tim Tetrick in his usual sulky seat.
Captain Treacherous is kicked out to a 2.5 length advantage. Apprentice Hanover on the outside. Beach Memories toward the rail. Sunfire Blue Chip on the outside racing in fourth. Captain Treacherous leads it. Beach Memories trying to get to him, but it's the captain. Captain Treacherous has it. Captain Treacherous!
He won last Saturday, 47-1, third fastest mile for a 3-year-old pacing colt, and very happy with the race, very happy with how he came out of the race, and we're going to enter him tomorrow morning to race back here Saturday afternoon in the Tattersalls.
About this mile today, you swept the lead there on the backstretch. Things got a bit tight down the lane, but looked like it was pretty much in hand.
Well, you know, all these horses in this race are very talented. They can all sprint fast, and when you turn it into a sprint like that, it's anybody's race. And you know, my horse really raced well. He fought game. They made a little bridle change where he can see a little bit more, and you know, when he's seen him coming, he was racing everybody he could see.
Father Patrick, once beaten in his freshman campaign, looked sharp in his Bluegrass Stakes performance, in which he trotted a 154-mile with Yannick Gingras in tow.
Lightning Force with good trot on the outside is coming on to the second. Speak the Truth just went off stride there. Donnie Andreas is moving toward third, but it is Father Patrick. Lightning Force on the outside second.
The older trotting male division has been tough all year, and Arch Madness has been away from the winner's circle for some time, but his return came this past Sunday in the Ulleridge Farms Trot Elimination, in which he matched his own world record of 150-2, first set in 2011.
Coming on the outside, it's Arch Madness and Servuga. They are battling stride for stride. Quick Deal to the outside, and here comes Market Share, who's charging up on the outside as well. Arch Madness, the 9-year-old veteran in front. Quick Deal and Market Share on the outside. Arch Madness almost there. Quick Deal coming. Arch Madness holds on to win it.
Yeah, he's an amazing horse. You know, he's... To me, he's acted, you know, like he's been himself. He didn't act like he lost a step all year, but there's been an awfully tough group of horses, and a lot of times he ended up in a 2-hole, and talked to the owners about it, and if you go back and look at his horse career, he never really raced any good with a trip.
2013 yearling sale season began in earnest this past Tuesday with the opening session of the Lexington Selected Yearling Sale in Kentucky, from which our Heather Dodds filed this report.
We saw Mr. Lucky Luke, a Lucky Chucky colt, sell for $450,000 and consigned by Huntington Sales Agency.
450, now 50, now 50. At 425, down 50. We do get 450, 450 there now. 75, 475. At 75, down 75, 75. 4.5. We do get 75 and we're able to get 475,000 here. We do get 75 and we're 475. At 450, 475. You want to do that one more time. We do get 75 here. We do get 8 to the man. We do get 5 and we're able to get 475,000. 450, 475. Last time around 475. 475,000. You done in the back? 475 and I have here. We do get 75. We do get 5. We do get 475 and die. Up front, 450,000 with Craig. Thank you.
We caught up with exhilarated buyer John Cancelleri and Lucky Chucky's trainer. What have you been telling everybody?
No, we weren't interested in them. That's all we ever tell anybody is we're not interested in them. I mean, we had our list of horses, we did our due diligence, and we worked from there. So he's a beautiful colt, and here's the real trainer right here, the guy who made Lucky Chucky, the real Chucky.
Good job, buddy. You're the greatest.
This is the godfather of Magical Acres.
You're the greatest.
I had to have him, Chucky. He was that beautiful. Let him tell you all about the real Lucky.
Were you surprised that he stepped in?
No, when he likes something, it's over.
And hip number 80, Custom Fit, broke the consigner trend, being raised and consigned by George Siegel and Brittany Farms, was the sale topper, coming in at $475,000. We caught up with his buyer, Jimmy Tactor.
75, 85, here we go, 85, and we're going to 75, 85, 85, all done. 85, 475,000, 485,000, yes or no, got to go. 475, 85, what's the other man going to do? Don't want to sell him out. 485, 85, what do you say, Raj? Thank you, 475, 85, and I have In the back, 475,000. Thank you.
Yeah, it's an expensive one, but it's like, it's two brothers, John Fielding and I, been a partner on both of them, and George Siegel, is a breeder, and I trained for George for 22 years, and it's like, it's a great group owning the horse, and we had to take a shot on this one too.
But I think my favorite sight of the night was seeing Captain Treacherous's driver, Tim Tetrick, with his daughter looking over the sales catalog.
Pick one.
Stay tuned to ustrotting.com for more news coming out of Lexington.
Thank you for your active participation tonight. Wish you the best of luck with your purchases, and remind you we'll be right back here tomorrow night for session 2 at 7 o'clock. Have a good evening.
Oh, sorry, didn't mean to ignore you, but I've got something here on my iPad I want to show you. Something new from Hoofbeats just for you. It's our all-new edition of Hoofbeats Direct. If you have an iPad such as this, an Android tablet, any device that gets to the internet, you'll have this. The nice thing about it, whereas before it was simply a PDF file that showed a picture of all the pages, every one of these, you saw the links come up, is a link directly to a story. Hoofbeats Direct will come with special content, links to slideshows, and video, for example, interviews with the newsmakers each month. Things you'll find nowhere else. They'll be exclusive to you and your copy. And the best thing is, if you have Hoofbeats delivered to your home each and every month, you can have the online version as you see here at no additional charge. But you do need to have an online services account. Visit myaccount.ustrotting.com to register. The USTA Executive Committee recently withdrew its support of the uniform medication rules being compiled by the Association of Racing Commissioners International and the Racing Medication and Testing Consortium. Phil Langley is the president of the USTA, and we spoke with him earlier this week about this action.
We haven't been real thrilled with the RMTC efforts the last 3 or 4 years. I think we feel that instead of looking for therapeutic drugs problems, we should be searching for the unknown drugs. We should be searching how to get an answer on shockwave therapy when they give it. We should be able to find EPO. And so, as you know, last year, a lot of money was given or committed to Dr. Soma in Pennsylvania. USTA contributed a small amount of it, maybe $100,000 or $75,000. Pennsylvania Horseman went to bat, and he's got $1 million now to do some of this research, and we think he's better equipped to do research than RMTC is. And so we just decided that since RMTC was becoming obviously a jockey club type of organization and not really concerned about harness, that probably about time to cut the ties and go our own way wherever we can. We'd like to see separate rules for harness and separate rules for thoroughbreds. There already are, if you really look at it. The Lasix has to be given 4 hours ahead of time in both breeds, but basically they give it and install at thoroughbreds and go back to the, or go somewhere and get it and go back to the barn and stand in the barn. Harness, you have to come to the Lasix barn and stay there for 4 hours. In harness, you have to be in the paddock 2 to 4 hours ahead of time, and the thoroughbreds come walking over just before they throw the jockeys up on the saddle. So there are already a lot of differences, and I think the fact that thoroughbreds break their legs all the time is their biggest problem that they've got to overcome. I don't think it's medication. And harness, the interesting statistics that we came up with last week in harness is that there are 22,000 thoroughbred foals a year. There's 7,500 harness foals a year. And we have more harness races every year than they have thoroughbred races. So that tells you something about the durability and the availability of horses to race more often and more consistently than the thoroughbreds. So we just think they're different. Everything's different. And this action by RMTC and RCI just kind of triggered the response we had. So that's where we are.
We're not out of the business, we being the USDA, are not out of the business of trying to detect designer drugs or unknown substances. We're simply going to go about it a different way. We still want uniform medication rules, but for our sport alone.
Right, and actually, instead of being out of the business of finding those drugs, the unknowns and the designer drugs, we're going at it Dr. Soma's been bought a whole bunch of equipment by the fund from the Pennsylvania Horsemen and from the USDA and other sources, and is in much better position to find it than RMTC. RMTC, all they do is they try to farm out some of the research and do it that way, but what we're trying to do is to really get somebody to focus in on it. We want to get rid of all that stuff. But we want to get rid of it for harness, or we're just tired of being, I guess, second fiddle is at best. We're probably only about fifth fiddle with the
Phil,
organization.
Yeah, thanks for taking time. I know you'll update the membership through your column in Hoofbeats Magazine and postings on the USDA website. We look forward to reading those.
Okay, thanks, John.
Harness handicappers, this one's for you. TrackMaster Harness Pro is the most unique and powerful handicapping tool dedicated to harness racing on the market today. It's a combination of all the features found in sophisticated handicapping software, all conveniently presented as a web-based, all-in-one handicapping utility. The only product you'll ever need. TrackMaster Harness Pro has these exclusive features: top performers, graphs, power ratings, sortable statistics, PDF race programs included. TrackMaster is your complete source for harness racing information. TrackMaster Harness Pro for the serious player.
TrackMaster's Harness Pro is the most unique and powerful harness handicapping tool available on the market today. There's no software to download or install. Simply and easily handicap from any PC, Mac, or tablet computer using a web browser. Visit TrackMaster.com to become a Harness Pro. TrackMaster has again provided us with Platinum picks for the Ion Harness Racing Race of the Week. Here are this week's TrackMaster Platinum picks for the Tattersall's Pace at the Red Mile. That's it for this week. I'm John Pavlak, and I'd like to thank Phil Langley, Heather Dodds, and Paul Ramlow for their contributions to this week's show. Next week, we'll have more from the Red Mile and Kentucky Futurity number 121, and we'll look ahead of the Breeders' Crown eliminations. Thanks for joining us, and be sure to make Ion Harness Racing a regular Thursday viewing habit.